Okay, how's everybody doing today? If I'm live, hold on, let me check and see if I'm live. Yes, I am live. Thank you. So it's December 15th at 1:05 p.m. in San Diego, California. My name is Kent. The channel is Bitcoin Believer. You're looking at the price of Bitcoin right now. And the title of this video is, what am I missing? I don't know what I'm missing about Bitcoin. Why more people aren't talking about it and why this thing isn't going higher than it is, even though it's gone really high right now, because we are. How many days? 24 hours we're down, but let me see in 24 hours, what's the price? Yeah, it's down 24 hours. But in the last 30 days, we're up. Let's see what we're up in 30 days. Oh my gosh, we're up a lot in 30 days. If I can figure out how to read this chart. But, it's just going to give me that. But let me see if I can figure out how much we're up in 30 days up here. 24-hour trading. Almost getting to $1 trillion in market cap. We're at 826 billion, 492, 1116, 339. But if you just look at the 7-day looks like it's kind of trading flat, a little bit down on 7-day, 14-day. We were at 39,000 December 2nd. So what, 13 days ago? 13 days ago, we were down at 39,000. Now we're at 43,000, 42,000, bouncing around 43,000. That's a lot of improvement over the last, 12, 13 days. So I don't know what I'm missing, because all I see is positivity, just incredible positivity. And I just don't know why more people aren't talking about Bitcoin. This reminds me so much of what happened in 2020 when we were around 5,000 and it went to 67, 68,000. And by today's inflation numbers, that would be well over 70, like $75,000, $80,000. So we could be on that same trajectory right now, but not very many people are talking about it. Not as many as it should be talking about it. The main thing people are talking about is this guy right here, is Gensler. Gensler says SEC is taking new look at spot Bitcoin ETF. And I'll just read a little bit of this. He is the head of the Security and Exchange Commission. If you don't know who this guy is, he looks like the guy on Simpsons. The guy, what's the guy on? I won't pull it up right now, but he looks like the guy on Simpsons. U.S. Security and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler changing his tune. See, this is the guy that's kind of been anti doing the ETFs, exchange traded funds for Bitcoins, where anybody can buy Bitcoin through a ticker symbol on a stock exchange, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange. He says in an interview with CNBC on Thursday, Gensler said that the SEC is considering between 8 and a dozen filings. They're gonna do more than one, so there'll be more than one filing, which means more money will be coming into Bitcoin, simply because they want to give the retail customer opportunities to choose whatever ETF they want to choose. Maybe they don't like Grayscale. Maybe they don't like Kathy's ARK. Maybe they don't like BlackRock. So they're going to do a lot of them. So this is going to be better for Bitcoin because more money will come into Bitcoin. But in discussing the filings, he alluded to the Security and Exchange history of denials of these types of proposals. Now, this is nothing new about the Bitcoin ETF. This has been around for a long time. So here we go. I'm going to show you this article right here on CoinDesk. Over 10 years later, the U.S. security is finally ready for a Bitcoin ETF. It's been over a decade since the first Bitcoin, I think by those twins, I never remember their names, Goofy 1, Goofy 2. But anyway, it's been over a decade since the first Bitcoin exchange traded fund ETF application was filed with the SEC, with almost 50 additional applications filed, including applications from BlackRock, Invesco, others. The United States has yet to approve one. So this is not anything new. I've heard about the ETFs ever since I've been in crypto, which has probably been about 9-10 years. So this is what I heard when I first got into it. And here we are 10 years later, and they're finally getting ready to approve it, which is going to mean huge amounts coming in. And this is the reason why we had in the past denial numbers of these applications, but the courts here in the District of Columbia weighed in on that. And so we're taking a new look at it based upon the court's ruling, Gensler said. So they're going to blame the courts. So they're saying, hey, we got ruled against on our rulings about Bitcoin. Now we're going to have the ETF. So that's huge. I mean, I've been waiting 10 years for an ETF, and they're finally going to get one to go through, which is going to be massive amounts of retail business come into the Bitcoin space, massive amounts. So if you're somewhat, that's what I'm saying. I don't really get it. I don't really get why people don't understand what's going on. People, because you got too many people like Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan that always bashing, or Warren Buffett, or somebody on Bloomberg is always being negative about Bitcoin. But I don't understand it, because there's so much content out there about Bitcoin right now that the price should be doing much better than it's doing, even though it's done really, really well here recently. But I think it should be doing better. So we got the ETF probably for sure getting done. And then the other thing that we've got, let's just run through some of the news here. Okay, Federal Reserve holds steady on, they're not going to lower these interest rates. Believe me, they cannot give up that cushion they have. They can't go back to zero interest rates because they have no way they have no way, lose their control at zero interest rates. So interest rates are going to stay where they're at. They're not going to go anywhere. I don't know if they're going to go higher or if they're going to go lower, but just the mere mention of the fact that they could move lower means that people conceptually think they're going lower, so they'll act accordingly. And that's what the Fed is doing right now. They're playing that game. Hey, we may go lower, but we're going to keep them the same. So now everybody kind of thinks that they're going to go lower, so they're going to. That's the same as making it go lower, because everybody does this, acts that way. Bitcoin and Ether rise as Fed holds interest rates steady. So interest rates go up, Bitcoin is positive. If interest rates go down, Bitcoin stays positive. And the reason why is because Bitcoin's immune to all this politics, because it's not centralized, it's decentralized. It's not run by a corporation or a government or an institution. It's its own unique entity, and it's immune to all this politics and Federal Reserve and all the other stuff that goes on. SEC, it's immune to all that. So that's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. I've been so bullish on Bitcoin ever since I heard about it and kind of started to understand it. But more people need to understand it, and I think more people will understand it. But unfortunately, it's going to be too late, because we're going to have these massive appreciations because of BlackRock and all these people. This is almost like I was saying earlier when I was a stockbroker and we had new issue stock that we'd brought public that had never been traded before. Those first people that own the the new issue, the stock that was able to be traded the very first day, they did well. But the people that came in and bought at the higher price, they usually never did as well, and they usually lost because the insiders were getting out. So here you got an opportunity to front run the market ahead of BlackRock. BlackRock hasn't got their ETF. They haven't bought yet. If you don't know who BlackRock is, they're the largest holder of equities in the world. I think 12 or 13 trillion. They own 2/3 of the S&P 500. And what I mean by they own for their clients 2/3 of the S&P 500. They control the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500. So 500, or the biggest companies in the world. So they control that, and right now you could front run them with this ahead of this ETF. If you bought Bitcoin right now, go to Coinbase, buy Bitcoin, you're going to be ahead of the Security and Exchange Commission, or ahead of this ruling, and ahead of all these big retail investors, which is very unique for individual people to have those positions where they can get ahead of the big banks. JP Morgan, you better bet Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan will be offering the Bitcoin ETF when it becomes available. I mean, asking JP Morgan about the Bitcoin ETF is like asking, the most, it's like asking the Crips to say something good about the Bloods. You're never going to hear that, okay? They're always going to be enemies, and that's the way Jamie Dimon is about Bitcoin. He's always going to be the enemy of Bitcoin. He's never going to have anything good to say about Bitcoin, but his bank's going to be buying it, that's for sure, I guarantee you. Or they're going to be offering it to their retail customers, because if they don't, they're just going to go elsewhere and get it. So Jamie Dimon eventually is going to have to eat his words, just like Warren Buffett and everybody else. Just like everybody else has had to eat their words over the last 20 years on Bitcoin. So that's today's market, and if you're not taking advantage of it, you're being very naive, or you're not wanting to understand Bitcoin. I think a lot of people don't want to understand it because they think it's digital, they think it's computers, they think it's hard. I don't want to lose my money, and they're going through all that negativity that people hear about Bitcoin. But there is right now, very little negativity about Bitcoin. Not even to mention the fact that we have a halving coming up very soon. What a halving means is that the miners that actually mine the Bitcoin, and this is just analogies that we use in the crypto space to define how Bitcoin gets created, is by mining, similar to mining in the real world, which is like gold mining or silver mining or anything like that. But the only thing is different here is that the mining isn't done by machinery, it's done by computers. So those miners have a cost of operation. They have to buy the computers, they have to run the computers, and they have to use electricity in order to keep solving the algorithm, the problems that come up. So when we get to the halving, now they have to spend more money to create the Bitcoin, which creates the price of Bitcoin going up. So we have hundreds, millions, billions of dollars from the retail market coming in from the ETFs. We have every 4-year halving, which means that the amount of Bitcoin rewards get cut in half. All this is taking place now. And we're converging on that right now. And we have a price that's less, $20,000 a coin less, a third less than its all-time highs. So don't, like I say, I don't get it. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't be jumping on this and getting everything they can, buy everything you could right now, because this is happening right now. And this is an opportunity for anyone to get involved if you want to get involved. So this is why I don't get this. And this is why I'm making this video, because I don't get it. I don't understand why more people don't get involved. The only thing I can think of is that they're just not quite getting or understanding it. The other thing about Gensler is he's like the friction point right now for Bitcoin getting the ETF approval. But this guy's actually pro-crypto. And if you ever watch his lectures, and I'll just play a little bit of one. This is one of his blockchain and money lecture from Gary Gensler. And this is at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. He actually gives some pretty good information and talks very extensively about, I've watched some of this, very extensively about Bitcoin. And about
Content is provided under a Creative Commons license. Your support will help MIT open.
Have ever worked on any blockchain related projects in an entrepreneurial setting or corporate setting anywhere? All right, good. So about a third in the room. Good. All right. So you all know probably more than I do.
No, Gary, I think you probably know more than we do, because you're the one that's making these approvals right now, or helping, or deciding, helping one of the individuals. So he's got to setting these poor students up for, you know. But anyway, that shows you that he's giving lectures on Bitcoin, lectures on blockchain. Now, how favorable is that for the crypto market?
But I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm going to always start every week with what are the study questions for the week. How many of you actually got the syllabus? This is not going to be graded assignment. I just have to have a sense of who.
So yeah, he's going into the full blown, and there's a lot of lectures on, and this has got 6.7 million views. So people know that Gensler he's knee deep into cryptocurrencies, and he's the guy that's affecting these ETFs. So better bet this is gonna take place very soon. And with the halving and with everything else, this is too much. Price is going to squeeze higher. I think price will squeeze higher over 70,000 here very soon. So stay tuned. I mean, there's a lot of good things with Bitcoin, and we'll see. And it's kind of funny because I can make these videos about cryptocurrency, get very few views. Nobody watches it. I make a video about World War II, or the fact that Patton wanted to go into the Soviet Union or Russia during the end of World War II. That'll get thousands of views, thousands and thousands and thousands of views. I make a video about blockchain. You won't even get 100 views, or maybe less than 100. So, you know, whatever's going on with people's minds as far as this stuff is concerned, there's a resistance. People do not want to listen to it or talk about it or hear it. So it is kind of interesting to me. So as I didn't do one yesterday because my software was updating, I had to add some RAM to my computer because I was using too much computing power. So right now I don't have any comments. Don't have anybody wanting to have me answer any questions. So at 14 minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and sign off, and hopefully we'll do one again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you watching.